don't want to get up here and be Captain Obvious, but we just didn't have enough answers tonight. And I thought in the first half that they were awesome. I mean, just awesome. And they obviously were ready, and they came out firing on both ends. Their defense was really on point. Their offense was, guys were making shots, and even some guys that don't make a lot of shots and guys that don't play a lot made shots. And I thought the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 7 or 8 minutes of the second half, I thought that, I thought we actually sort of started figuring some things out and digging in and getting some stops and getting some baskets, and we were able to cut into it. And I really was hoping for a few more possessions where we could maybe cut into it and get within striking distance. But then we went cold. We had a couple of turnovers in a row that really hurt us, but it was just too much them. They were outstanding, and just have to give them credit. They played really hard defensively, and we just didn't have enough tonight.
How much do you feel like having a team, a game like this and an opponent like the one you guys played, how much does that show, not only for this season, but I guess moving forward, how far you guys have to go?
Well, I think that I think there are a lot of things to be learned from this game for our team. And, like I said, we competed somewhat favorably for not enough minutes, but a few minutes. And so I hope that shows our players that, okay, we've got something in there that if we put it together right and do it with some consistency, then our challenge now, as I told them after the game, is we've got to get that as close to that kind of play as close to 40 minutes as we can. And it certainly wasn't a case of Shamil Stevenson and Kenneth Chukwuka were in there trying their butts off to box out Marvin Bagley. Just a hard guy to keep off the boards. Okay, I mean, it wasn't lack of effort. It was, that guy is incredibly good, and so we do have a long way to go. I mean, we do, and I was watching one of their tapes, and it had sound, and I typically don't listen to sound much, but I heard an announcer say something to the effect, and I'm not quoting, but something like those 5 starters will have, I thought he said, 10-year NBA careers. He's talking about all 5 of them. And now, and again, I might have that misquoted a little bit, but the point is obvious. That's a really, really talented team, and we do have a long way to go. I mean, they're the upper echelon of what college basketball looks like. That they're a gold standard of basketball programs in college basketball, and what they've done and how consistently they've done it, and the different ways that he's coached them to do it. I mean, it's phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. So yeah, we're trying to put a program together that looks. We would love for it to look something like that in a few years.
Coach, what did you say to your guys that the first time out when Duke spotted you with 7-0 runs?
Well, just it took us a long time to settle into the game because our guys were, they were amped up. They wanted to play. They were excited, and what can happen so often is guys can be too excited for in a situation like this, especially when they're young. And Duke plays in games like this all the time. Everybody does the black out and the white out and the blue out and the red out and the yellow out and whatever else out there is. They get those all the time, and so that's like water off a duck's back to that group. And so, our guys just had to settle into the game, and it took us 15 minutes to get settled in, I think. Sorry about that. Okay.
So you talked about just inching back closer, filling them out midway through the second half, and then they switch over to a zone, and they stuck to it all the way through towards the last 10 minutes, I think. But that kind of throw you guys
No,
off?
not at all. They've played quite a bit of zone this year, and so we had prepared for zone. We've been remarkably effective against zone defenses all season long. I mean, literally, that's been like the one thing that we've been really good at is executing in zone offense. And tonight we weren't as much, and we turned. It was really about turnovers. We just didn't trust. We didn't trust each other and what we're committed to doing there enough. And then I bailed. I tried to bail them out and give them something else different to do instead of sticking with what we've been good at and that we weren't being good at while they were zoning us. And so part of that was my fault. I probably should have just used the timeout to teach and coach them on why we've been good in zone offense. So I'll take the bad on that one.
How did you? That was the first time for the rest of us got to saw the Kenna that you guys have seen in practice and have been talking about from an energy standpoint.
Yeah, I mean he displayed something there in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the first half, and even made some shots tonight, which is another thing that we saw. We know he's capable of, but the statistics don't support that. You see it in practice, but you don't see it in games, and I was really happy for him because. I mean, if he hadn't have made a shot, he tried so hard and hustled down those offensive rebounds, so I just real proud of him, and hopefully he can keep that and use this as a little bit of a springboard and give him some confidence going into future games.
Talk about Kenna getting in his own way mentally sometimes. Do you think that's improved of late, that he's starting to handle it?
You know what? He jumped up and made some shots yesterday in practice, and I almost think that it was just sort of a weight lifted off his shoulders, and maybe he just relaxed a little bit, and again he always tries hard, he always plays hard, but sometimes he just gets going too fast in his mind, and it's a process for him of slowing the game down, and I thought tonight he slowed the game down and made his shots and hustled down offensive rebounds and tried hard on defense, got to the double team great, and really did some good things.
How can this team rally around each other and be competitive despite it being in a 0-4 ACC hole and without Ryan Murphy?
Well, all we can do is continue to try to get better, and that's we don't like being 0-4 at all, but they continue to be very coachable and continue to be very responsive to what we ask them to do, and I think you could see that when we made that little bit of a brief comeback there in the second half, and the effort's good, the energy's good, the attitude's great. So we just have to keep knocking on the door and keep finding ways to try to help them, and then hopefully have enough good things happen in a 40-minute time period and win.
How do you approach defending them when they have Bagley and Carter in the front, and you try to double them? Then it's pick your poison because they were kicking out to Allen and Duval to three.
It's just it's what makes them really good. Any time that you've got a player that can command two defenders, then that's all you want on offense. Is you're just hoping that you have somebody, whether it's a guy coming off pick and roll and he can cause two guys to have to play him, or it's a guy that you can throw the ball into the post to and they have to trap him. Now you get to play 4-on-3 on the rest of the court. And it's really kind of what offense sort of comes down to. And you either screen them out of position or you get them out of position by making them double team you somehow. And they just have so many weapons that, again, it's a pick your poison proposition. And they made shots tonight. They shot it really well from the perimeter. And when they do that, they're going to be difficult because Carter and Bagley are almost unguardable.
Ryan's foot had the reevaluation of Ryan's foot.
Not great. Not great. So I just talked to the doctors just before I came in. I'll find out more in the morning, but wasn't what we were hoping for. At least not what I was hoping for. So.
Is there a possibility to reconsider a medical redshirt with him?
Yeah, there's a possibility if talking to the if I talk to Tony, I'll have to talk to Tony later tonight and tomorrow and talk to Ryan about what we've heard, and then we'll try to figure out what the best approach will be.
How do you think you bridge the talent gap with schools like Duke, big picture?
Just have to try to fight our rear ends off and recruit well, and also really work hard at developing the guys that we have, that's grow them up, get them older, and then hopefully when they're juniors and seniors and they're not freshmen, then they're battle tested and they know how to play and they've improved a lot, and our freshmen obviously don't look like they're freshmen right now, and that's not my freshman's fault. That very few freshmen look like, well, nobody looks like Marvin Bagley. I mean, that dude, that's as good a player as, he's as good a player as I think I've ever watched in preparation for somebody on film. I mean, he's terrific, but our job is to recruit the best players we can recruit, but we have to do a great job with development and develop the kids that we have, and that's kind of been a formula that has worked for me over the course of my career, and helping guys like Terrell Brown and Shamil Stevenson and whatever, Cam Davis, Marcus Carr. Those guys might not have been as recruited as highly as some other guys, but guys that have a chance to be really good players, and just keep working with them and keeping them positive about who they are and what they can become, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you have a good team.
Is that something you prefer to be a part of, as opposed to obviously 9 freshmen on the court tonight, but you look at theirs, this is all one and done. They're not going to be here next year.
No, I'd take some of those one and done guys if I could get them. No, I'm jealous of Coach K. I would if he would like to send Marvin Bagley or Wendell Carter or any of those guys, we'll take them even if we've only got them for a few months. So no, we're going to recruit the very best players we can, just like they are, and we're going to work our butts off to try to help them get better.
What do you think for you, Kenna, playing against a guy like Bagley, especially on the defensive end? What for you were the biggest challenges of going up against somebody like that with that kind of skill and that kind of length?
I think since he's so long and athletic, that just causes a lot of problems just by itself. Obviously, he can shoot and stuff, but we mostly like around the basket, his spin moves, all that. It's just hard because you can play as good as you can, like hands up, all that, but he's just so athletic. So that's just the toughest thing, to be honest.
Jared, when you watch them on film and then you actually go and play Duke, how much faster were they, on the court from what you saw, or how much better? Was there any differences in what you saw?
No, I expected them to play the way they did. They looked like a really good team on tape. They were a really good team on the court too. Really sharp in a lot of executions. Made a lot of tough shots. Made a lot of open shots too, which helps. So they were good, and I thought they were good before. So it wasn't like anything really surprised me. Bagley's athleticism maybe surprised me a little bit. Some of the plays, some of the finishes he had, even with our guys walling up. He's really athletic. That was one thing that might have caught me off guard a little bit.
Was it surprising a little bit on defense that basically 1 through 5, they can switch off and really not miss a beat, guarding on ball?
There's a lot of athletic teams that can do that. Most ACC teams are able to do that. It's a little different maybe for somebody who hasn't played at this level like myself. When you see 5 guys who are potential lottery picks, you hear their names every day, see their faces, and then you see them all just, they play like they're on a string. So.
And as a team and as a young program that's trying to build, what can you guys take away from a game and a loss like that?
We can take away a lot. It's just every day it's just getting better with us. Like, it's just in practice, every game we keep getting better, and it's just we like each other. So as long as we just keep ourselves just keep doing what we're doing, we gonna be good.
Jared, with you being 1 for 9, what went wrong for you beyond the arc tonight?
Shots just weren't falling. It wasn't nothing different I was doing. Shooting my regular shot, they just weren't, falling. I tried to just go to the basket instead, create for my teammates a little bit more, and just be more of a leader. When shots aren't falling and you're you know, a leader of your team, that's all you got to do. I wasn't really focusing too much on the shot. I did make my one at the end. Surprisingly, I didn't even think I was gonna make it, but you know, I don't really focus on that when my shot's not falling. I know I can shoot, I know I can score, but I was really more paid attention to just trying to lead my teammates, you know, the guys my age and especially the young guys to just keep fighting throughout the game.
Both of you
You
guys.
had the crowd seemed to appreciate your effort. As coming off the bench, do you feel like energy is one of the things that is kind of your responsibility to bring when you come into the game, and how do you feel like you've done so far at that?
Yeah, I mean, that's just how I play. I always play as hard as I can every day in practice, every day. Like, this is a game, practice doesn't matter. But, I mean, off the bench, definitely coming in with some energy always helps. If I'm starting, I'm going to bring that same energy. That's just what I do.
Were you exhausted at all after that one stretch where you had the 3 offensive rebounds and the layup?
I wasn't really thinking about it. I probably was a little tired because I was winning when we got to the bench, but I don't think about that when I'm in the game.
Yeah, that's who kind of is, by the way, for everybody. You know, I can promise you that. I've seen him do it in practice, get about 5 offensive rebounds in a row and just keep going. He'll be wheezing next to me, you know, and I'll be like, Kenny, you good? He's like, yeah, let's go. You know, that's just who he is. So we definitely appreciate that. You know, everybody does, and you see the fans had to appreciate it too, and we show that love to him like the fans did every day in practice. So it kind of motivates him to, you know, do it even more, which is huge for us.
Kinda, how have you handled this season mentally, you know, in terms of trying to weather some of the ups and downs, you know, during
It's been tough. Like, especially in the out of conference, I couldn't make a shot, and I was shooting it pretty good in practice and stuff, but it just wasn't falling. And I think I was kind of like just in a rush. Everything is new. It's way different than JUCO, obviously, but it's just like trying to just slow the game down. That's what Coach been preaching to me every day, and he's like, I love him for just keep sticking with me. You know what I'm saying? Keep putting me in the game, even though I wasn't producing in the beginning, and now I can have like a little, I wouldn't call it a breakout of game, but like start playing a little better, and you know what I'm saying? That's just, I just appreciate him for that.
How can this team rally and encourage each other despite being in an 0-4 ACC All?
Just like you said earlier, we all like each other. We all love each other. Let me replace that word. We all love each other. You know, off the court, when somebody's hanging out with another teammate, the whole team probably knows, and eventually we'll probably all be together. Same thing in the locker room, and same thing with our coaching staff. You know, we all love each other. That's something we just talked about in the locker room before we came out here, is just, you know, our dedication to one another, grinding every day. And as long as we have that, our hopes are never going to be down. We're never going to doubt ourselves. Going into every game, you know, we're telling each other that we love each other. We're going to play hard and go win this game. You know, when the result ends up in us losing, it's not something we go back and we're hanging our heads about. We haven't hang our heads over any game. You know, we're a new team, one of the newest teams in college basketball, one of the youngest in college basketball. So we knew there was going to be bumps in the road. But, you know, we're just every day trying to love each other so we can eventually smooth that road out. So that's really what we focus on.
Last question. You all fell behind by 7 points, 10 points there in the opening couple of minutes. Was there anything about the game or about the opponent that sort of overwhelmed you guys at all as a team?
No, I think in the first couple of minutes, I think the thing that kind of maybe went wrong a little bit was just they were playing harder than us. And being a young team and being a team that, you know, doesn't have guys who are that athletic or, you know, get as much praise and as much, for lack of a better term, just, you know, the attention that they get and their names, they have big names, they're really talented players. When you're playing against teams like that, you can't not play harder than them. If you let them play harder than you, then, you know, you're giving yourself the short end of the stick. So I think that was really just what happened in the first couple of minutes.
We played really hard tonight and well on defense and shared the ball well. Yeah, we had 6 kids in double figures, and I thought our bench did a really good job. You know, we have a couple kids out, and then Wendell got hurt early, and our bench came through for us. But, you know, just a solid overall performance by our team. Any questions?
Coach, what did you say after the game to the Pitt players after the game ended and you shook their hands?
Just different thing, you know, good game primarily. I mean, they're good kids, and yeah, I like all the kids we play against, you know, and I think they don't deserve a blow-by. I think they deserve, like the way I was brought up, you shake hands and you look someone in the eye, and that's what I try to do with every person in the line, win or lose. And I think it's something that my mom, who was born here near Uniontown, she was born in Keisterville. You come from this work ethic, and you're taught that way. So, but it's an honor to play. I saw Sam after the game, and Dick wrote, and good friends.
What specifically about the defense did you like?
Well, our intensity, and it was there the whole game. I thought we moved our. We've been practicing like crazy, trying to get better, and we were better tonight, and we have to just keep working at it. They're young kids, and we're not deep, we're not deep, but they're real young, and they have talent, but they're real young, and they have to just keep learning these new habits. So today was a step forward.
Like when you scouted Pitt and you watched the first half of the games when they have Ryan Luther and then when they don't, how much of a difference was there?
We didn't really watch much with Ryan Luther because we had known. So I thought that would have been wasted time. Obviously, he's a double-double guy, and he's a veteran. Anytime a group of young guys can have a veteran who, he doesn't necessarily have to lead vocally, but he leads by example with his work ethic and his belief in the system, which is what he is, that helps. So when you don't have that, that hurts you.
You got, I think, 22 points from your bench tonight. Do you think you're going to need to sustain that?
Well, we're going to need to plan because we got those two guys out. We're in more of a 7 to 8 man rotation when Marquise and Javin were healthy, and sometimes Alex came in, and so the dynamic of our team changed, and it changed. I didn't know if Wendell was going to be able to come back, then it would have changed a lot. So we have to, while we're improving, get to know the group we have right now, the group without Javin and Marquise. Just like Pitt they've lost their kid for a while. They've had to adapt. And we'll see what that does. But the bench did a good job. J-Rob was very good, and because he can shoot, he can give the inside guy a little bit of room. Where even though they were doubling, when a couple times they did that, and J-Rob was open, and he hit a couple big threes in the first half.
Like they stayed stubborn with that double team in the front court, and you're still able to get 40 points in the paint, still out-rebound them. Is that, step in maturation for this front court?
No, they were aggressive in it, and we didn't get clear buckets, and then the one thing we didn't do well was hit from the free throw line, and so you didn't punish them. Marvin played a really good game, but he was 2 for 8 from the foul line, and that's something. If you don't hit your free throws, then people will foul you. Not just double team you, but they'll foul you because it's better than getting dunked on. And so we have to hit our free throws.
What do you think, Mike, is the most difficult or maybe even sometimes frustrating thing about coaching a team with that has such an overwhelming number of freshmen?
Well, I would like to not use the word frustrating. I'm 70. We shouldn't be frustrated anymore. We should just be patient. And I think when you're younger, if I was younger, I'd be more anxious, frustrated, or whatever. I'm a little bit more patient now. Maybe, I don't know if it shows or not. I gave you a chance to finish your question. In my younger days, I might have stopped you. Not that it wasn't a good question. And yeah, but the main thing is, is the development of habits, and the expectations on these kids is so great, and they're not ready for that yet. But they might think they have to be, or they are, and there's an illusion, that we're already there or whatever, instead of a process. And basically, when you have a young group, I was telling John Shire and Nolan Smith, we have to combine what they did in 4 years in one. You know, so there's a tough freshman year. You get beat in the Sweet 16 your junior year, but in your senior year or Nolan's junior year, we won the national championship. Well, they've gone through all that. Well, my team's got to do that in a season. And so, you know, but it's got to go quick. That's why adversity, we will have adversity. You know, we will have losses. We will, you know, we'll have injuries and that. And hopefully come March, we will qualify for the tournament and be healthy and be older together, not just older individually. It's an incredibly interesting process. And it's different than the one last year or even in 15 when we won, because we had more older guys. You know, you had Quinn Cook and Matt Jones and Emil Jefferson to go along with him. This group doesn't have that. It just has Grayson. So it's really a different dynamic to teach in.
Mike, what would you say about Pitt's process?
No, it's a good one, yeah. I mean, you know, we can't do that. And because we can, right now, we can get Bagley. Or, you know, we can get Duval. Now, that doesn't mean Pitt can't get them, but we can get better because we've had them. You know, we've had those guys. And so, but there's you know, you all should just stick with what's going on. I mean, he's a really good coach and a good guy. And you get good young players. They grow together. Just like I'm saying, it's their first year. You know, they're going to develop a camaraderie, a toughness, and then whoever else is brought in, they'll be able to teach that toughness and whatever, and all of a sudden it'll go. You know, I know that Kevin is trying to build a program, not a team. I have a program that has to develop a team. I don't know if it's different, you know, and hopefully what we have done in our program helps develop my team. I hope I'm making sense in all this. But it makes sense to me, and what the hell, if it makes sense to me, that's all. Do you agree with you? Yeah, I agree with me. In fact, what you said was pretty good, I know. I have those talks every once in a while. I like both my shoulders, so sometimes I don't like what's in the middle.
Have you ever seen the total roster reconstruction is what's going on here at Pitt?
Yeah, at Duke when I took over, you know, and we were 38 and 47 my first 3 years. You know, the freshmen that were 11 and 17, their senior year, Allery, Dawkins, Billis, Henderson, and Amaker came in as a junior. They were 11 and 17, and they finished 37 and 3. I'm not saying that'll happen everywhere, but you know, that's what you would hope, that level of success. You just have to stick with it. It's a great fan base, terrific school, you know, good people. Just have to stick with it. Just stick with it. And what he's teaching is really fundamentally good, especially the offensive end. Those kids are all becoming better with the ball and sharing the ball. It's a very well-conceived offense and difficult to defend. Yeah.
Mike, it seemed like your guys handled this hostile Oakland zoo tonight, didn't they?
Handled what?
It seems like your guys handled the hostile Pitt crowd from the zoo, didn't they?
Yeah, you know, like we get everyone, you know, we're always a sellout and a T-shirt or color day or, you know, God bless them. I think it's great for Pitt to do it. We're just the ones that are always the ones that they do it. You know, not them, but everybody, you know, and the 2 losses we've had, you know, they stormed the court and, you know, that just comes with the territory. That comes with the program. The team is not accustomed to that. Like, this is their 3rd conference game. Okay, that's on the road. You know, that I've been, it's my 38th year. You know, I mean, we've won a lot of road games. You know, we've been in a lot, but they haven't. They haven't, and hopefully what we can impart to them are, you know, and what we've learned can help. I have a really good group of kids. They're really good. They want to do well and they want to work hard. We just have to give them a chance to grow.